Welcome back, everybody. This is AWBrawler for E Strange. Once again, this is just another one of those videos for no reason, but I guess you could say this one actually has a little bit of a reason behind it. This time, I just want to be talking about a little earlier than I normally do because I know it's not even May yet, depending on when you look at this video, as if the upload is not May yet. But I want to do a little bit of early predictions for E3. Now, I know I've been way off sometimes, and I've been spot on a few other times. Recently, I've been just dead in the middle, but this time I think I'm going to be spot on, and I have a very good reason for believing this. I think that this is probably going to be one of the biggest E3s that Nintendo has had in recent memory. I'm talking about bigger than E3 2010, where they showed off NBA Jam 007 and everything. My reason for saying that is, well, it seems as though all of their cards are on the table now. But then that would lead to the question, if all the cards are on the table now, then what are they showing at E3? They've done direct showing off every game that we know is coming this year. Keywords that we know are coming this year. Both for the Wii U and the 3DS. I mean, even now, as of the upload date of this video, a little bit later on after this, they're doing a Nintendo Direct for Xenoblade Chronicles X, one of my most anticipated games. It would be the most anticipated, if not for Splatoon, but dang it, how can you not love those entries? So, you even have a whole Direct coming up where they're talking about Splatoon. I mean, where they're talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I said a whole Direct where they're talking about Splatoon by mistake just then, but I have reason to believe that we will have a whole direct where they're talking about Splatoon. I mean, why else would they make all these directs and get all of these games out the way? I mean, what would be the purpose of that? So they could just tell us everything and then at E3 they can repeat what we already know, or show us a bunch of nothing? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Two games that I know should be returning for E3. Like, I'm going to give you my list of what I believe is going to be at E3. Two games that's returning from last year. I guess you could say three. I forgot the third one. Three games that's returning from last year. I know we're going to see Devil's Third. We're going to see how it looks now and what they've done with the game. We're definitely going to see Devil's Third. The two project games that were in very, very early beta form from Miyamoto. Because some people were bashing the Project Giant Robot and Project Guard, but keep in mind, these are projects, not even games, not even demos, projects, which means they may be part of a bigger game. Like they said that Project Giant Robot supposedly was supposed to be part of Star Fox. So I know Project Guard and Project Giant Robot will return in some form, maybe as full-fledged games, and we see what the concept is and where they're going with these games. Star Fox, we know Star Fox is coming. That should be one we can just count and write it off. Yes, Star Fox is going to be at E3 because Zelda's clearly not going to be at E3. Or so they said. Maybe it'll still have a trailer somewhere. But Star Fox will be there because they've already said Star Fox is going to come out before Zelda. So I have reason to believe Star Fox is coming out this year. So those are ones I know are going to be coming. The new Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem, or what is it called? Illusory Revelations Sharp FE. I believe that's going to be at E3. But let's back up for a second here to Zelda. We know Zelda's not going to be at E3, and this isn't about E3 per se, but I've been reading a lot of articles lately where people are just making bold and wild predictions without knowing anything that they're talking about. I mean, people are just all over the place with these NX, next gen console from Nintendo. I'm like, am I the only one who notices that Nintendo follows a certain trend when they release their consoles and their handheld devices? Let's think about that for a second. Let's go all the way back to the NES days. Not count the Game & Watch as a portable. If we don't count the Game & Watch as a portable, even though technically Game & Watch was Nintendo's first game system, if you want to put it that way, but not counting the Game & Watch from Gunpei Yokoi, let's look at 1985. Let's look at the NES. Now, granted, it got a bit of a slow start. 4 years later, we got the Game Boy. then we got the Game Boy Pocket. So Game Boy, so the Game Boy and the Game Boy Pocket were for the NES and the Super NES. Now, see, Game Boy came in the middle of everything. So Game Boy stretched from the original NES in '89 all the way through the Super Nintendo line. Then Game Boy Color came midway through. I linked Game Boy Color to the Nintendo 64 because by the time Nintendo 64 came out, Pokemon was big. They had the transfer packs you could put in your Game Boy Color Pokemon games with Pokemon Stadium 2 and have interaction between the games and between the Game Boy game and your Nintendo 64 console. So yes, 64 hooked up to the transfer pack, Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color with 64. After Nintendo 64, we got GameCube. What went along with the GameCube? The Game Boy Advance. How do we know this? Because of an awesome little game called Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, where you hook your Game Boys up to your GameCube. And then there was also Pac-Man Versus. They had games, even Animal Crossing, where you hook your Game Boy Advance up to your GameCube. So Game Boy Advance, GameCube. Now the DS came out before the Wii. Again, the portable always comes out before the system itself. The DS came out, and we know the DS was linked with the Wii. There were even games like Final Fantasy, was it Rings of Fate? It was one of the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicle games where you even played a DS version where you could hook up online with the DS players, even if you were playing on the Wii. You'd have to deal with the DS level graphics, but you could do that, and the game was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed it a lot. But that's off topic. We're not talking about that. But the DS connected to the Wii. 3DS. Did the 3DS connect to the Wii? Nah, not really. Not that I know of, unless I'm forgetting something. But we are seeing 3DS connectivity with the Wii U, because 3DS is the console, is the portable for the Wii U. Even with Smash Bros, you can use the Nintendo 3DS as a whole other control in Smash Bros. Now, people are saying, but they already came out with a new portable, so NX has to be the next Nintendo console. That's not entirely true. That's people who are not paying attention to the trends and how Nintendo would do things. Let's rewind back to Nintendo DSi, which came out, if I'm not mistaken, around 2009 or 2008. 2010 they were showing off 3DS. About 2009 maybe, but I know it was only out 2 years. Don't quote me on these years. I may have one. I know it was only out a good 2 years before the 3DS came out, and people, nobody said anything about that because the DSi was not a whole other console. It was just a DS. Granted, when you had DSi, you had DSiWare. You had a web browser. You had an SD card slot to listen to music and take pictures. You had games that used those pictures. You had certain games that could run only on DSi that could not run on the original Nintendo DS. But it was not a different system. It was just an upgraded version. Kind of how you have iPhone 5, iPhone 5S, iPhone 5C. It's just a different variant of the same console. So new Nintendo 3DS is not their next handheld console. It's just not. It still has 3DS in the title. So I have reason to believe that NX, or whatever the code name for it, is going to be their next portable, because we know they've always done it this way. They're going to release a new portable before they release an actual new console. Now they said NX won't even be discussed until next year. So then with that, I'm like, well, maybe NX is the console itself. And maybe we will see something about the new portable at this year's E3. But then common sense slaps me in the head, because I'm like, why would we see anything about a new portable at this E3 where the new 3DS just came out this year? So they're going to give it at least a good year before they say, oh, by the way, we got a whole nother console coming out. Thanks for buying this upgrade. Sorry, basically, is what they're going to be saying. They're going to give us at least a good year and say, hey, this is coming within this year. So when they do announce it's not coming the same year. It's coming the next year. So yeah, the new Nintendo 3DS will be on the market a good 2 years at least before that next console come out. I mean, before the next portable come out. That's why I say it's 2015 now. The next portable will be out most likely, I would say, by the end of 2016, so that would have gave it 2 years or close to 2 years. So then the next console would be out around 2017, 2018, which is the standard 5 to 6 years that Nintendo consoles usually run. So all these stupid assumptions and ridiculous rumors that Zelda is going to be held back and released on Nintendo NX, is going to be released on the next console, that's ridiculous. When has there ever been even one gen where there was a Nintendo console that did not have a Zelda game to call its own? Because think about it, there's not a single Zelda game the Wii U can call its own. Now, we can say that it has Hyrule Warriors, but Hyrule Warriors is not a Zelda game, it's a Musou game. Musou game being a Japanese name for Dynasty Warrior type games. You know, they have One Piece Musou, they have Gundam Musou, they have lots of Musou games out there. Capcom even did their take on a Musou game, Sengoku Basara. But that's a Musou game. Yes, it has Zelda elements, but it's not considered a Zelda game. It's a spin-off. When has there ever been any console that didn't have its own Zelda game? And people keep looking at the GameCube and they'll say, well, the GameCube Twilight Princess went to the Wii. Yes, but it still came to the GameCube. It still came to the GameCube after it went to the Wii. I know because I played it on the GameCube. I completed it on the GameCube. I never even owned the Wii version. I had it on the GameCube. And then even before that, they had Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. So I ask you, what Zelda game does the Wii U have? Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Oops, my bad. That was already on the GameCube. That one doesn't count as its own Zelda. Hyrule Warriors. Nope. Tecmo Koei made that. Nintendo themselves did not really sit down and make that. So this new Zelda game, they're even calling it The Legend of Zelda for Wii U. It doesn't even have a title yet. They keep calling it Legend of Zelda for Wii U. For Wii U. Eiji Aonuma gets up and says several thousand times that it's for the Wii U. It's for the Wii U. And people are still freaking out thinking it's going to some other system for some unknown reason that just does not make sense to me at all. So, with that being said, what I think they are doing, now I'm not saying the delay was intentional, but let's think about it for a second. Next year will be the 30-year anniversary for The Legend of Zelda. Now, if anyone can remember anything longer than 2 months ago, apparently a lot of gamers online can't remember anything that's past 2 months ago. But work with me here and let's try to work that memory of yours. I know you guys are forgetful, but try to work that memory. If you can remember anything past the last 2 months and go back to roughly 5 years ago, there was the Legend of Zelda 25-year anniversary. And with the Legend of Zelda 25-year anniversary, we had the orchestra were at E3. They were playing their music live, and they showed off brand new footage for Skyward Sword for the first time that we never seen before. So what's to say that they're not gonna do that this time and show off brand new footage for Legend of Zelda Wii U that we never saw before? I think that would fit it. 30-year anniversary. Let's wait, not show it at this E3, but let's show off everything during the 30 year. So that's probably what they're doing, is not going to another console. So I think that's the main reason why it's probably not going to be at this E3. So that's my bold prediction a whole year ahead of time, that the next E3 next year is gonna be Zelda themed. They're gonna probably have the orchestra out again. Miyamoto's gonna come out on stage and say something. Maybe Eiji Aonuma's gonna come out with him too. We know Bill Trina's gonna come out and that's Miyamoto upped his English, which he has been doing. He has been doing better with his English speeches, but we know Bill Trina's gonna be out there with him. So what I think is gonna happen is there's gonna be a lot of shockers. Like we already know, what is it? Is it Guitar Hero or Rock Band? I forget which one it is. Rock Band Live, Guitar Hero Live, Activision. One Activision make. I get them mixed up. We know that's coming to the Wii U, so I'm like, wait. You said there's no third-party support for the Wii U, yet the Rock Band Guitar Hero game is coming back, and it's going to be on the Wii U. So that's one game there. There's the rumor that the new Call of Duty is going to be on the Wii U. That's another third party. I got a good feeling that Reggie's going to get up on stage, do his thing that he does, maybe say something that's memeable that we all laugh and tease him about for years to come, and they're going to show a big reel showing off a lot of third-party games that we didn't even know were coming. Now they may not be multiplex, but they're going to be exclusives. And here's why I think they're going to be exclusives. I think third parties are starting to get the image. They're starting to get the idea that it's not that their games won't sell on Nintendo consoles, it's that they won't sell if they're multiplats that are poorly ported. But they will sell if they're exclusives. Exclusives always sell better. Let's look at Lego City Undercover. Lego City Undercover almost outsold Pikmin, Nintendo's own IP. And I know some people are probably rolling their eyes going, well, that was published by Nintendo. Okay, wasn't made by them though. Nintendo did not make Lego. And that sold pretty well. Zombie U actually sold better than Wonderful 101, Nintendo's own. It sold better. It actually did, if I'm not mistaken, Zombie U maybe even did better than Bayonetta. I have to check it again. Bayonetta 2, but Bayonetta 2 is still selling, and it's picking up. It's doing a lot better than I actually expected to do with a install base that's still under the 11 million mark. So I'm like, yeah, that's actually doing pretty good so far. So third-party exclusives do sell well. Bayonetta, in my opinion, sold well. Zombie U sold well. So they are definitely gonna be probably showing off third-party exclusives. Maybe even a couple of free-to-play games, since they're saying that system works well on the 3DS. So they're probably gonna try to bring that idea over to the Wii U. With Pokemon Shuffle and Pokemon Rumble World, those games are doing pretty good. So I expect this Project Treasure to be shown off at E3, because I want to see what that is myself, because it seems pretty interesting. It looked from a little glimpse of characters, it looks like it may be some characters from a certain familiar fighting game that I don't want to get the spoilers just yet, but I'll toss it out a little bit later in a tweet and tell you what I think it is, because I'm probably going to do a little analysis on that myself. But I want to see if they're going to do free to play with that. So they're probably going to show off some games like that one. Other third-party exclusives that I think, I'm willing to bet that Square Enix is going to have some kind of exclusive game for the Wii U. Maybe not even a Dragon Quest. I'm trying to think, has Dragon Quest went to any other console lately? No, and I know Dragon Quest 10 is gone. Who knows? Maybe they're going to localize Dragon Quest 10. Don't hold your breath on that one, but maybe they're going to do that. But I feel like Square Enix is going to show us something that's Wii U exclusive. Atlas. If Atlas is smart, they will probably try to build up Etrian Odyssey a little bit more than what it is, and release Etrian Odyssey on the Wii U. I mean, why wouldn't they do that? It's Etrian Odyssey. You need to have a second screen to draw a map. What is the gamepad control? You can draw a map on there to draw your own maps, and they can even do other things. Maybe they can implement the Miiverse, where you can sell your maps on the Miiverse for in-game currency to help you buy other items. Like maybe you can sell fake maps, and people on the Miiverse can rate your maps and tell people, hey, this is a dud, don't buy it. Maybe they can do something like that. I think that would be pretty awesome. I would actually like that idea. But that's enough of third party, because I can never predict what third party is going to do, but I know there's going to be some third party exclusives that we did not see coming. First party, I think it's safe to say we're going to see a Metroid. And I think what they're probably going to do is it's going to be both a side-scroller and a first-person shooter at the same time. Because they probably could have it where gamepad shows you first-person view, and you can play as Samus looking around that way. And if you look at the TV screen without looking at the visor itself, you may have like a side-scroller type of view. Now, this is just for my own far-fetched idea. I have no reason for thinking they'll make it with that gameplay style, but I do feel that they are going to show off a Metroid at this E3. I think they're finally going to make another console F-Zero at this E3. I mean, look what they're doing with Mario Kart. There was one F-Zero stage, which is Mute City. And then with the most recent DLC, there was another F-Zero stage, Big Blue, one of my favorite stages. So I'm like, why are they putting two F-Zero stages in there? And then I know some people are saying, well, they put F-Zero stages in Mario Kart, so we're not going to have F-Zero. No, I think that's their way of just testing the waters, see if people still like it before they just come out and show that yes, there's a new F-Zero. So I think a new F-Zero is coming, a new Metroid is coming. As for other franchises that they didn't do yet, Battalion Wars, I don't know, but I want to believe that they'll be smart enough to put Battalion Wars on the Wii U. It's a real-time strategy, and the system lends itself very well to a game like Battalion Wars. It just does. That would be awesome. They should do it. If they don't think to do it, shame on them. Kid Icarus. I know at the end of Kid Icarus, Hades jokes and says it'll be another 25 years, but it's the Sakurai, and for lack of a better word, Nintendo is more or less bullying, pushing this guy around, going, look, make this game. So they're probably going to tell him make another Kid Icarus. Probably. And it's probably going to be on the Wii U. And that's just me wishful thinking, because Kid Icarus actually sold pretty well. I don't know why Nintendo's not doing DLC for it and why they just left it to die after it released, but it crossed this million mark. It actually sold pretty good. I think they're probably going to release another Kid Icarus, and I think they're going to reach into their vault and pull out some obscure game from their past that we aren't expecting. Like, this is just what Nintendo knows. They reach into their bag and they pull out some game, Mock Rider or something. Last gen, Punch Out was revived. Who knows? Maybe this gen it'll be Mock Rider. I'm not sure, but I just got a feeling that they're gonna pull something out from their older library of games that we haven't seen much of, alongside creating other new games. We're gonna see more new games like Splatoon, because if you remember, the Garage was the code name for the developers that were trained by Miyamoto. They're making little small teams together. They're making other games like Splatoon. So I think those other games they're working on, along the lines of things like Splatoon, are going to be shown up at this E3. So this one is probably going to be jam-packed. I mean, anytime they have a direct where they're showing off the new Fire Emblem Shin Megami Tensei, showing off Xenoblade, showing off Yoshi's Woolly World, showing off Mario Maker, showing off Splatoon, showing off everything except for Devil's Third, showing off everything except for Devil's Third and Star Fox that they could have shown at E3. I think it's safe to say they have a lot to show at E3, so they had to get this stuff out the way first. So until next time, this is AWBrawler for E-Strange saying, be you, be true, be human. And remember, if you like what you're seeing, click that subscribe button of the Tribe Cool people in the corner, and have yourself a nice day.